And now for more on dirty bombs and nuclear threats, I'm turning to the Moscow Times journalist Mikhail Verchenko. Mikhail, hello, and thank you for joining me here in the studio in Amsterdam. Mikhail, we see that Moscow is clearly escalating with this issue, now with Vladimir Putin personally backing up these allegations that Moscow was issuing for all last days. And now Vladimir Putin personally claims that, yes, Kyiv has these plans for provocations with this dirty bomb. What he's doing, what is his goal?
I would like to highlight two things. First, Moscow is now trying to deploy all the arsenal of actions and words because it cannot do anything on the battlefront. So I would like to draw a comparison with what Ukrainians did before their counteroffensive in Kharkiv region. So they used precision missiles to hit Russian supply lines, command posts, ammunition depots, and so they used all their arsenal to weaken its opponent, and then through the holes in Russian defense, troops went into the offensive. So Russia cannot do anything of this on the battlefront. And it tries to deploy all the means from strategic nuclear weapon to, we now come, dirty bomb, and also allegations in using biological weapon. Probably, if you remember...
Which Putin also stressed, actually.
Yes.
Again.
In the beginning of the war, Russia claimed that United States and Ukraine develop biological weapon in secret laboratories in Ukraine. And now this week, Russia asked Security Council of the United Nations to form a commission to investigate these claims. So we also, this week, Russia staged a nuclear maneuver, which it didn't do for 3 years, for the last 3 years. And so we have strategic nuclear threat, tactical nuclear threats, which the Kremlin continue to repeat. We have dirty bomb, we have biological weapon, so all the arsenal that you can imagine, and also massive strikes. I would add here massive strikes with drones and missiles on the Ukrainian infrastructure and civilian objects.
Right, but when it comes to this shelling campaign, which Russian military started in recent weeks, shelling Ukrainian cities with bombs and drones, it looks clear. I mean, no matter how cruel it is and brutal, it's still, the idea is to make Ukrainians to succumb to the pressure, and to probably agree to come to terms with Moscow on what's going on the battlefield. But when we're talking about this dirty bomb, which makes little military or political sense, when we come to a nuclear threat, it's just words. It's nothing but, I mean, it's not backed by any evidence, and basically every allegation that Sergei Shoigu or whoever from Moscow came up with being refused by whoever agent from on the West.
Military analysts and politicians claimed in recent days that probably Russia uses as a pretext to its own operation.
As a false flag, exactly.
Yes,
Exactly, yes.
Yes, and because it usually used such kind of approach in Syria, for example, and also it accused the West and Ukraine that they want to attack Russia, and that is why Moscow launched this invasion of Ukraine.
Right.
So this is kind
of
the same thing.
So there is a huge concern that probably this is a false flag operation, and Moscow itself is planning some kind of incident.
Yes, I would express some doubt in this. And here I would like to highlight the second issue that I mentioned in the beginning. The Kremlin masterfully can distract attention. So even if we recollect the recent annexation of Ukrainian territories, it was done immediately after it suffers huge defeat in the northeast of Ukraine. And instead of discussing this military defeat, everybody began to discuss annexations. So maybe we or experts should think of Moscow preparing something in quite different field, in quite different sphere. Maybe they should look into another corner. And not to pour all the attention into this dirty bomb discussion.
So it's not a necessary sign of Moscow's itself preparing some kind of provocation with some amount of nuclear material, whatever it might be, but it could be just a PR stunt for something else.
Yes, we all know that Moscow has wonderful PR, awful wonderful PR, because with propaganda and all its forces. Probably, yeah, we should look into something else, or at least think about it.
So you don't think we should be afraid of dirty bomb being used in near future somewhere around Kherson, Nova Kakhovka, or this area?
It is difficult to discuss whether we should be afraid or not, because this is the first time when a country which possesses nuclear weapon threatens to use it, right? And obviously everybody is afraid or is thinking about it. So probably we should be afraid of dirty bomb. But I would like to recollect the story with biological weapon. So it led to nowhere. So all the claims, if it could be considered a false flag operation in the beginning of the war, nothing happened neither from Ukrainian, from Russia, nor from Russian side.
Right.
So
right. Okay. And yet Vladimir Putin keeps repeating it and keeps bringing it to the table. You mentioned the strategic nuclear exercise that Moscow started this week, and as we understand, it was supposed demonstrated as some kind of routine because Moscow has warned Washington of this exercise.
Yes, and they usually do it. Yeah.
Yes, as they always did it before, but nothing is business as usual anymore, as we clearly understand, and we already know that President Biden repeated his concern about nuclear threats coming from Moscow, and again stressed that it would be a huge mistake if Moscow would turn to nuclear weapon. So, do you think there is something serious? I mean, do you think that Vladimir Putin is heading towards using it?
What we have seen until recently, he is going to use all kinds of threats that he can, right? And with his defeats on the battlefield, he uses more threats and more threats. As a former Allied NATO commander Wesley Clark mentioned in the interview with CNN these days, he said, we really do not know why Putin is doing it. So, yeah, we really do not know. But we can see throughout whole conflict that he is escalating and escalating and escalating. What can be the next step? Could we imagine any? So strategic nuclear weapon is already could be seen as the highest one, but they degraded to dirty bomb from nuclear weapon just to dirty bomb. Maybe there will be some claims about chemical weapon next. So,
well, let's see. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Russia Tomorrow.